You don't need to know anything about me, except I love to try to help people in different ways. My whole career has been at the very edge of design, technology, and business. So I've been very, very fortunate to always be sort of on the leading edge of what was next. And over my career, I've done a lot of different things. I actually invented the font menu, believe it or not.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
It's ridiculous.
The font menu.
Yeah, it's like.
I can't wait to hear that story.
Well, it was annoying because it didn't show you what it looked like. Early in my career, I was at a Silicon Valley startup that was acquired by Adobe Systems, and one day, the founder of Adobe, John Warnock, asked us to solve a very simple problem, which was you couldn't send a document from a Mac to a PC to a Linux machine because it didn't look right. And this was, back in the, like late 80s and early 90s. It was a really difficult problem, and so we hacked together what became Acrobat PDF to solve a problem. Just like all of you that are working in healthcare, life sciences, you're doing it because there are big problems to be solved that have to be solved at the global level. It was the same thing for us, and so I love to bring that kind of trying to experiment and push forward and just rolling up your sleeves and doing things to this work now with health and also with longevity.
Amazing, thank you. So, actually, a question for you, Mike. Why ThinkHat? Why did you decide to join as a ThinkHat fellow and the work we're doing here in the healthcare life science space?
Well, because of you, Richie.
Clearly. I love hearing that. That's a good start. We'll take that. Bravo. I paid him a lot to say that, by the way.
Yeah. No, actually, Kimberly introduced me to the ThinkHat family in my job. So my job every day at the Microsoft Garage in Manhattan is to disrupt the thinking of the world's most successful companies. So that's literally what my job is they walk in, they've been told they have to innovate by their boards, they have to do something faster, better, what are you gonna do about AI, what are you gonna do in health science? My job is to help them figure out that they can actually leap forward and do the most important work, which to me was at the heart of what ThinkHat's doing. You're not like messing around, right? Like ThinkHat is working on some of the hardest problems and trying to put together teams that know exactly how to do it and just go after it. Like you said, your heads are down, you're going as fast as you can, and I love that about ThinkHat. So I wanted to be involved. Right place, right time. There's no question that the stuff that you are focused on now and in the future is exactly where all of us should be looking.
We're planning on making real impact. Actually, Kimberly, I've never asked you, why ThinkHat? Why did you join ThinkHat? Why are you here?
Well, actually, because of you, Richie. One more time.
That is true.
I met him in January of last year, and he shared with me about ThinkHat, and I said, "Wow, what these guys are doing." But what really did it was the team, Robbie Lamb, and I wish he was here for you guys to meet him because, you reach a certain point in your career and in your life where you realize your time is super important, and the things that you want to invest your time and energy to need to have value. And when you meet somebody like Robbie Lamb and Sam Perley, our Chief Scientific Officer, who is at the young age of 35, been on 2 Nobel Prize winning teams, what have we done by the time
Tell
we're
us a little bit about Sam Perley. So
you realize
unfortunately, Robbie Lamb there's some travel issues going on. They're both supposed to come in last night.
Yeah.
Both of their flights got canceled by the time they would have gotten here and making it to the Hamptons. So we appreciate everybody's journey here, but by the time they would have got here, it would have been 2 o'clock and they both would have missed the panel. So we apologize for them not being here, but they're incredible humans. So first off, tell us about Dr. Sam Perley. What do you know about Dr. Sam Perley, our Chief Science Officer?
Well, first of all, you have to meet him. He's one of the most endearing, adorable human beings. His heart is incredible, and as well as being amazingly brilliant.
That's saying a lot about being a scientist, by the way. I work with a lot of scientists. Endearing is not always the first word you might use.
No, I mean, it is. He went to IIT, he was a fellowship, he ended up going to MIT.
He won the Presidential Fellowship Scholarship
Yes, at MIT.
To MIT. That means he didn't have to pay anything. They asked him to come on a presidential scholarship. He was the topper in his class at IIT. That means he graduated at the highest level at IIT, where the Google CEO comes from, the biggest and best technologist in the world. That's MIT of India is IIT. So that's kind of how we've learned about IIT and all the brilliant minds that have come from there. Ravi, our founder, Ravi Lam, came from IIT as well. That's where Sam came from. And now Sam, from winning that presidential scholarship, decided to, instead of doing technology, he did biology. And he felt, if I can program cells, if I can program computers, can I program cells? So tell me a little bit about the work he did by programming cells at the Yamanaka lab.
Well, first of all, he was one of the early authors of CRISPR-Cas9. So he actually worked with Jennifer Doudna on that, and because of his
another MIT lab,
yes,
another
Nobel
Nobel Prize lab,
yep.
amazing.
He actually was one of the very first authors, and then Dr. Yamanaka through those papers, recruited him to come be his principal investigator at UC San Francisco. And then he was the principal investigator for Yamanaka, who won the Nobel Prize for stem cell research.
Right, and that stem cell research today is still being carried on by Dr. Samperli with us, and that's where we're building companies around. So for longevity, he's thinking about technology with the stem cell to stop it at a certain point, to make it a young, healthy, youthful cell, and put that back into the body as a muscle cell. So for muscle rejuvenation, long-term things like that, he's working on that, and we're really close to making some strides there, as well as drug discovery. He was able to take the COVID vaccine, 10x its efficacy, and make it only express in cell-specific wherever he wanted it to. So one of the issues with COVID was it was expressing in all your cells, and it caused a lot of problems. So he was able to design that Moderna COVID vaccine be 10x more efficacious, and additionally express wherever he wanted to. So he's able to do things like that. I can't imagine what we're going to do in the future. So this is why we need help with building some of our companies to scale that mission. We've got 2 labs right now, one in Puerto Rico.
We actually have 3 labs.
Oh, well,
Sorry.
actually, the third one's being built. The third one
It's
is
built.
coming.
Yeah,
Oh, it's built.
it's
So,
built in Puerto
so now
Rico.
we have 3 official labs, one in Puerto Rico, one in Hyderabad, and also one in Silicon Valley, where Sam leads the charge there. We're realizing Puerto Rico is an amazing hub to work out of with the tax benefits and all of the incentives there to build in healthcare in Puerto Rico. So we're using that as a major hub. It's obviously part of the United States, so it works for us really well. It's a beautiful for the investment thesis because obviously we keep more of our money, and also
For every dollar we spend, we get 50 cents back on research. So cash flow works much
So
better.
that's amazing for what we're doing in totality. And then honestly, the last person, Ravi Lam, our founder. Mike, what have you got to know about Ravi Lam, our founder? Tell us a little bit about him.
Ravi loves to tell stories, which is great because I'm a professional storyteller too. I'm a technologist and a designer. But when you talk to Ravi, you understand the human side of all of this. Yes, we're scientists and technologists and investors, but there's always a people side of the equation that I like to tell people to look at first. And Ravi looks always at that first. That's sort of where, like, from his heart, that's where he
To exit a
comes from.
company, to do a unicorn exit for 1.2 billion, what does that take? What type of person does that take? You need a team, right? You
Yeah.
be able to see the vision for the right people around you first and foremost.
Yeah.
And for the year and a half I've been here, that's what he's invested into. He's invested in people like you, Mike, invested into people like Dr. Samperli, into Kim, myself, because that leadership is hard to find.
Yeah.
So, Kim, give us a little bit about your experience with Ravi Lam. What do you think about Ravi?
I just wish he was here. I don't have enough words to kind of describe him. So I will tell you this: if anybody wants to do a team Zoom call, just let me know, and we'll give you an opportunity to have a one-on-one with him, because the words will fall short for sure.
So
without question.
we welcome everybody to join our mission at ThinkCat. As a collaborator, as an investor, as a cheerleader, any of those 3, we would love